Hello, all. Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. I am Rezi Orenji, y'all's favorite music loving, yarn spinning orange cat boy, back with yet another music talk stream. How have y'all been? I hope you have been well. I hope your week has been relaxing, in spite of current circumstances going on in the world. It's a very chaotic time, but I hope y'all are managing regardless and finding joy in in the smaller pleasures in life, in art, in music, in everything, in everything that makes life rich. I've been trying to take it easy. I had a rehearsal with one of my bands this past Thursday. That was a lot of fun. We're preparing to release an EP, hopefully in a week or so. So that's really exciting. What else have I been up to? Honestly, not much. I have. Actually, yeah, the new King Gizzard album came out this week. I had a lot of fun listening to that. Phantom Island. If I had to give it a preliminary ranking like I did my King Gizzard tier lists, right? I think I would say that album is at least a B tier, but I have to probably sit with it for a bit longer. It has to grow on me. It's I think it's the more mature version of like Paper Mache Dream Balloon, that sort of more acoustic, considered baroque, folky sound, but I don't know. At this point, I feel like the band are capable of so much more than even just what they did here working with an orchestra. That said, I cannot wait to see them pull that album off live, so well done, King Gizzard. I believe this is their maybe the 25th album that they've released. I don't know. It's been a while. I've lost count of what they've been pumping out. But anyways, enough preamble. Our guest for today, another one of the guests that I secured by putting out the call on Blue Sky recently. He is, I'm not quite sure what his theme is as a VTuber, but he's got some content. He's got some streaming content on Twitch. He's a gamer. He does a lot of sort of anime games and D&D and fighting games and what have you. But he's also a SoundCloud musician too. He has a few original compositions on there in electronic and rap, and hopefully he's got a long VTuber sort of music career ahead of him, like a bunch of other of the great artists we've had on this program. So, would you all please join me in welcoming Scoutyboy? How's it going, Scoutyboy? Welcome to the Music Talk stream.
What up?
Glad to meet you, and usually one thing I like to do with these streams is open the floor to my guests, sort of get them talking a little bit by asking them like what really sparked their passion for music, right? Because it's one thing to sort of just have it on as mood music in the background, have it as sort of your background soundtrack or what have you. It's another thing entirely to be putting up your own demos on SoundCloud. But so like I guess how did that emerge for you?
Music has just been a very big part of a lot of the other stuff that I do. Like, regardless of whether or not you think about it this way, what part of any type of gathering that you ever have, like some type of concert, convention, anywhere in the world, where do you normally hear? Like, you hear the crowds, you hear conversations, you hear a bunch of hustle and bustle, but music is always present. So
Absolutely.
It's one of those major things that kind of like, I always liked music. I always wanted to learn how to make it, but the whole entire thing was just practicing, getting it out there, and trying to realize what type of style I wanted.
Absolutely, yeah. That's always the struggle. Did you get your start at school, or were you like I don't know, did that sort of develop outside of school for you?
It's a little bit of both. I started like pretty much just going to music class every other now and then when it came down to high school specifically because
Yeah.
interesting fact here. I when it came down to growing up, music class was kind of taken away somewhere around middle school. Like that's when
Ah,
they decided to be like, part of the curriculum, it's not really all that necessary, so we just cut it out. And that's like for a span of 2 years that I was there. And then high school, I get back into it and I realize that I really love music.
that's good. It always sucks when, like, middle schools, high schools are eliminating their arts programs. I feel like that's becoming all too common these days, and we really need those enriching life experiences. That is, like, making art and making music with your friends.
Yeah. Um, so on that note, that's one part. But then the other part is always because I end up listening to a lot of music. I I originally started listening to music on Pandora.
Oh
Originally,
yeah. Oh my god, I used to have like a Pandora account back in the day too. Like my dad used to use that a lot and I sort of like took after him for a time, but then I think I eventually moved over to, your typical Spotify or YouTube music or anything like that.
yeah, like I was not about to. I think the main thing with Pandora is that I just got like a mystery box, pretty much of like any type of music, but alongside the stuff that I wanted to listen to.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah,
you
that
start
was
hearing
really
these
cool.
yeah, you start hearing these different genres simply because you decide to press play on a playlist, and there's sometimes that they mix in other different types of
Yeah.
songs and music in somewhat of the genre.
And that's really the fascinating thing about like what the ideal radio station could be, right? Because I I did a bunch of research for one of my videos where I sort of looked into the history of like FM radio and how back in the early days in the 60s and like the early 70s you had DJs that were sort of just programming their own playlists, based on like I guess their own particular taste. They were playing entire albums, entire sides of albums, like 17-minute songs, like Inagata Davida, that sort of really heavy psychedelic sort of stuff. And I have to say, um, gradually radio eventually became a lot more tight and something that whose playlists were determined by consultants. That's how you got like album oriented rock. That's how you got top 40 radio becoming really big, having a real big chokehold on things. And it's good to have, even though radio is tightly controlled mostly like that now, it's still good to have outlets like public radio, like college radio, like Pandora, where you're able to have a bit more, I guess, exposure to perspectives that you otherwise wouldn't. Eh,
Yeah. But that's like the whole starting point and everything.
Yeah.
And then I just started making my own music from time to time. It started with like little ringtones here and there that
Mhm.
of just like a custom ringtone that I made at one point in time.
Oh yeah.
And then it eventually got to where it's like, I want to make this song for a bit longer. So like 3 to 5 seconds turns into like 30 seconds end up turning to a minute turns into 3, and that's like in fucking industry standard for most of the music from time to time. So I
Hey,
just thought,
yeah. Build it up
why not
brick by
try to
brick.
fix it? Yeah.
And there you go.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it all started pretty much with me wanting to create music and really just post it from time to time.
Yeah, yeah. So are you like are you predominantly a producer or do you also have like play instruments too?
I do have a guitar but I'm not very great at it. Like I'm
Oh,
still
okay.
trying to learn the basics and everything.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. Guitar is a tricky instrument. I mean, I'm predominantly a rhythmic guy, but I've I've never, had the fortitude to sit down and practice scales.
Yeah, I also recently picked up like a little mini keyboard to try to learn a little bit of like piano stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I have a little MIDI thing with me too, like a controller, but it's kind of gathering dust since I haven't I don't really used it that often for my arrangements, my covers, so I don't know. Eventually I'll get some use out of it.
Hey, there's no stopwatch or anything like that. Take your time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say though, there is I don't know how familiar you are with like the Rock Band Guitar Hero games. There's a fan-made clone of like the Rock Band games out named Yarg, which for it's available on PC. For all I know, I could probably plug in my MIDI controller there and start plunking away on like the keyboard engine they have on there.
I have not heard about that, but I do know about the Rock Band games. Like those were around then. Like about to date myself hard right here. Those were around when it came down to the arcade era and everything. Like, you go
Oh
to a
yeah. Guitar Hero Live is such a shitty arcade game, though. I mean, I understand why they had to make like the controllers the way they were, as big and clunky as they were, to make sure that nobody tried to pull a Pete Townsend on them or whatever and like smash them over the machine. But they're not fun to play, and the game feels laggy as shit a lot of times.
Man, I remember the amount of times that I've tried to play those types of games, and it's just like, well, this is this is not my thing. But
Oh
it was
yeah.
because I didn't know how to play guitar and everything like that originally.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I would be interested in trying like the Japanese like games. Like I think there's like Drum Freaks, Guitar Freaks, those sorts of titles. Those were the inspiration for what we have here in the West with Guitar Hero and Rock Bands.
Yeah.
Mm. But I guess sort of along those lines, you do a lot of Twitch streaming from my understanding.
Yep.
You played quite a bunch of games on there. Do you have a particular favorite like video game OST? Either of the games you've played or just in general.
I never think about the OSTs from time to time, but I will say this: Sifu is one of the OSTs I really like because
Oh, that's interesting.
something about Japanese like culture kind of like being mixed in with Western culture in terms of
Oh
like,
yeah.
music. It will never not sound good to me. Like there's
Yeah,
never a
yeah.
time that I think I can say that I had a bad experience of that.
Mm. So it's like sort of Eastern melodies mixed with EDM sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about Sifu. I watch the channel Under the Mayo quite a bit, and he's made countless videos about like the ins and outs of the mechanics of that game. It's a very seems a very complex thing, and I don't know if it's the sort of thing that I would want to pick up now that I don't really have the most free time or patience for video games, but yeah, I definitely got to give it its flowers. It seems like the perfect experience for people who love that sort of thing.
It is definitely one of those games that I came into it because of like just the love of martial arts in general being put
Oh
in
yeah.
video games and the representation. Like for older people here, like movies with like Ip Man or Jackie Chan and everything like that.
Oh
Those are the
yeah.
movies that you see the choreography and you're really interested in it, especially given like Ip
Absolutely.
Man. The Raid is also another movie. That one won't be shown as like in Netflix everything like that because I believe
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
Korean movie.
Indonesian,
But
I think.
oh, Indonesian, and it is a stellar movie if you love like hand to hand combat stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard a lot about those films. Yeah, granted, I feel filthy for saying this. I've mostly heard about them through video essays and haven't actually watched them for myself.
Mm. I mean, there.
Hello. Let me see if I can translate this name here, or at least hear it out and translate. What is this? I can hear it on Wikipedia. Give me or Google Translate. Give me 1 second. I'm terribly sorry. I want to make sure I properly welcome this dude.
You're completely fine.
Dude.
Take your time.
Wakotsu.
Wakotsu-san, welcome to the stream. And thank you Google Translate, Chan, for the assist. Where were we though? I haven't really played that many combat heavy martial arts games. I mean, beat 'em up games I have a lot of respect for, but it just seems like a genre that it has a high ceiling that I don't know if I'm that prepared to commit to, you know.
I definitely understand, but I am indeed the one person that I say the games I always have a passe on are RTSs or real-time strategy games.
Oh yeah.
But I know there's people out there who love those games and will play them for hours on end. But you know, it's a different stroke for everybody.
Absolutely. No, like I've played a few RTSs in my day. Namely the Civ series. Honestly, I could never get into like the Paradox games out there, like your EU4s or your Hearts of Irons. I don't know. Civ was always the perfect middle ground for me, but you know, otherwise I think my favorite video games are like roguelikes, just for the sheer breadth of experience you can have with only only a few floors of content that has like infinitely generating variables. It's always been my favorite, or at least for a bit it's been my favorite genres. Also a big boomer shooter guy. I mean, like the boomer shooter games always have, you know, in addition to fantastic gameplay, just absolutely stellar soundtracks.
Doom is definitely a testament to that. I've done my homework.
Hell yeah.
I have only been able to play the newer Dooms and everything like that, like Doom 2018, Doom Eternal, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do, or a friend of mine, Seb, he goes back and like picks up all the other music and stuff like that from the old 8-bit eras and stuff, and you can still appreciate the type of like history that goes into a game such as
no, absolutely series. Like especially for like those original MS-DOS games, like it's fascinating going back and exploring like sort of the history behind the sounds that they use in that game. Like they pulled from a lot of sample CDs when like giving the sound effects for the demons, for the weapons, for you know the main protagonists, grunts and what have you. And of course, the original composer for those games culled a lot from contemporary rock of the day. Like I think there's a bunch of Pantera and Alice in Chains riffs in those games.
But yeah, no, I would say that in terms of like games, especially given like other OSTs I've listened to, I believe that Mortal Kombat's OSTs from time to time, like the very classical type of ordeal, but yet still heavy, fast paced. Like I do love those OSTs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also, a huge sucker, I guess, for the Pokemon series' music. Like one game that I still play pretty consistently these days, aside from Yarg, is like the fan-made Pokerogue, and it's always nostalgic going on there, and hearing some of those Pokemon Mystery Dungeon soundtracks they got going in the background.
I will do not crucify me over here, chat, but I will be honest here when I say this. I've only played about 2 Pokemon games in my life and ever heard of the OSTs, and that was Platinum, and I believe it's called XY for the GameCube.
Hey, that is okay, man. Pokemon is a very so depending on the generation, it can be, somewhat alienating, I guess. Like, I was into it from like pretty young. I think my first game ever actually was Pokemon Crystal, and then from there, I was a big fan until like the DS games came out, and I don't know, like Diamond and Platinum, Diamond Pearl actually, they didn't really hit that well for me. Until I got to Gen 5, and then I was sort of back on the wagon again until like, what was it? Until like Gen 8 came out, then I sort of fell off because of, some of the, poor quality that went into that game. And, I got back on the series again with Arceus, then I fell off again with Scarlet and Violet. And, I don't know. Pokemon's a very finicky series when it comes to, quality between entries.
I especially understand that, especially given my background is more like on Call of Duty in terms of like a long series game.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I will say this, for those of you who have not played the older Call of Duty games and stuff, give it a chance, especially given Modern Warfare and the Black Ops series. Only play up to 2 in the Black Ops series, mind you. That's why I'm staying.
Yeah. No, honestly, I'm a big fan of those early Black Ops games, those Modern Warfare games. World at War 2, very fantastic World War II shooter for the time. Let's see. So I guess going off of that, we've before the stream, I often like to ask my guests, to send me a list of some of their favorite artists, and you sent me a bunch of rap music. What's the history there? I guess, behind your taste. How did that sort of develop?
Ooh, that is that is definitely gonna be a little bit of an ordeal here, because Imagine Dragons is where I originally started out with, like,
okay.
Really having like a like for songs and everything like that, or at least specific songs from a specific artist. Like Imagine Dragons was the one there, and
Yeah.
I understand that they're not exactly like the most liked in terms of artists, but something about various anthems that are made with rock in the background and everything it can be a nice listen to. It's not necessarily something you gotta feel impactful about, but having it in the background is there.
Hey, I won't deny that the band, is incapable of writing music. I'm sure, that their hits aren't the most representative of them, but God, they definitely aren't. They definitely aren't a good impression.
But then it was when I heard a remix of one of their songs with Kendrick Lamar attached to it.
Oh,
and
interesting.
That's when I was kind of like, I never heard about this guy. So let me go and check out some stuff. And that's when I was introduced to the album Good Kid, Mad City from him.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'm going to be stuck on this album for quite a bit here, because holy, when I originally had heard this album, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, this is really somebody that decided to put this type of music out there at first. But then I started listening to the whole album through and through. And if none of you have listened to the album, like start to finish, take the time to do so, because there's a whole plethora of story in there that
it's art,
people didn't,
Kendrick's a master storyteller when it comes to his lyrics. It's phenomenal, like just sitting down and diving into them.
Like, you guys, I'm pretty sure everyone is now like, more keen to him because of the Super Bowl and everything. Like, not that he was a big name before that already.
Yeah.
You need to give a Good Kid, Mad City a listen, because that, I would say, if anything, I feel like that if there's a magnum opus for everyone in terms of making music, that was his, because there's a lot of personal ordeals that were in that album to it, especially given the the various other songs that are part of it. Like, I think, which one was it that specifically got me? It was Money Trees specifically that was like, I was stuck with.
Mm-hmm.
Because
go ahead, sorry.
it's the very classic level of just a song about someone growing up in the ghetto, growing up in a
Mm.
poor family, but like in a place specifically like how where Kendrick was living.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
there's just a level of various different things that he was experiencing that just you cannot match with normal level of music or certain genres.
Mm. Yeah, like South Central LA, the surround the neighboring urban or suburban offshoots. That upbringing definitely shapes somebody in their in the art that they create. I have a lot of respect for them. My entry point into Kendrick was was To Pimp a Butterfly, and if you guys know anything about that album, it is fucking dense with meaning and just inner exploration. Just a fantastic album all around. I think I remember my intro to it. I think was. I was with a friend down in Philly or whatever, and he had me up in his apartment, and we were sort of smoking out of this graph bong in his room, and he just put the album on in his hi-fi. Fucking magical experience.
Yeah, and that's with Kendrick being the first rapper to ever have an experience with. That's when I started like really getting into the genre of rap, people like Ice Cube and Wu-Tang Clan and for the older generations and stuff. And then like middle ground, you got Jay-Z, J. Cole and everything. And then the newer artists like G.I.D. and Ski Mask. Like those are Kendrick was originally the one who introduced me to this whole entire genre. And then it's just like, okay, now I want to listen to more of it.
I'll admit,
a little bit.
Sorry, go ahead.
Backpedaling a little bit. J. Cole was then the next rapper that I started listening to, where he had a specific sound, but necessarily also a type of je ne sais quoi of having his demeanor really bleed through the music, I would say.
Yeah. I'll admit I'm not the biggest, I don't have the most knowledge on J. Cole. I only really know what he did, during the beef, just sort of the premature entry and Slate retreat. But I understand he's, one of the big three idiosyncratic rappers out around and, having hits today. So I got to respect that.
He's been around for a hot minute, especially given various songs like Simba. I believe there's also Workout. He's more of like the laid back type of person, especially given his track record. He's a good lyricist. Yes, at the end of the day, but he is more of the face of rap that is just like, you don't want to have the harsh reality put in front of you. You just want something that's good to listen to and, you have a good feeling going on.
And he's got some fantastic locks, fantastic head of hair.
I will never understand if it was J.I.D.'s specific song, I believe, Working Out, that the ending part, it kind of goes over why does he look like he wants to borrow a charger from somebody? He looks like that old uncle and everything like that just is on the grill at the cookout, bro.
That's funny.
I think that he put that part in specific in that song just to be I love J. Cole and everything, but he will he jokes around with him, especially.
Yeah,
I feel like JID loves J. Cole, but he will joke around about it.
He does have unk energy. And with the other artist though, Ski Mask the Slump God, I don't think I have ever heard of him. What's he about? I think I saw Wikipedia describe him as punk rap or something like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, he is specifically the newer age of rap and everything. I saw it alongside JID. He came around when XX and Tashion was a thing.
Okay.
The people were kind of getting around with him and stuff like that. He came up the same exact time. Ski Mask is, I will never understand how this man is capable of making beats the way that he does, because like the once again, dating myself. Anybody here have any memory of Codename Kids Next Door?
That's my childhood.
He made he made a song with that theme in mind, and
Oh,
it
that's
is unbelievably
incredible.
good. Like the title always gets me off because it's literally like a soccer mom. That's the name of the title of the song, like a soccer mom.
I
And
love
I
when.
heard this.
Sorry, go ahead.
I heard this song originally, like just from passing by with somebody else. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, play that back really quick. What am I listening to? And then he plays it back. I'm like, I know that theme, and that is a very good fucking sample.
Oh my god, I love when artists use the most unorthodox samples in their music. Like I don't know. Are you familiar with Thundercat at all?
I have heard of Thundercat before.
Okay, I love it. Like sometimes in his music he'll throw in like some random like video game sound effects. Like I think in one of his songs he's got like the Sonic goal music like flittering in the background at one point.
Yeah, no, those unorthodox level of like samples and stuff like that is always love to see.
Mhm.
And Ski Mask is a testament to that because I'm pretty sure like anytime that man has put out a song, he just listens to. There's got to be a point in time he gets high, he listens to a various amounts of like sounds or samples, or just is at a construction site or something, and then he just listens to something, and if it interests him enough, he makes a song about that.
Hey, that's how cutting edge art is fucking made. You just gotta find sounds that you think sound good together and smash them together.
And if you want my recommendations of any type of songs to listen from him, if you happen to be in the mood for it, I recommend listening to stuff like Carbonated Water, Like a Soccer Mom, and you will not believe me when I say this, Foot Fungus.
Hey, my favorite band's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I'm fine with weird names.
Like it will always like I will always say like I forget the song Like a Soccer Mom because it's kind of like there's no way that somebody actually made a song like this. Guess what? Ski's right here. Hello.
Yeah, I will say I do really like my rap music sort of out there and a little more oddball. You know, like not to say that I don't respect trap or any of the more mainstream music going on now. That definitely has its place in the modern music landscape, but I think that all the alternative variants of rap, like all the stuff in the '90s with like Tribe Called Quest and what the Beastie Boys were doing, and also De La Soul, and what we've gotten now with a lot more experimental avant-garde rappers like JPEG Mafia. I just really love the more off the wall, sample heavy approach to rap music that really just goes for making something new out of both the past and the present.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely something I appreciate. And once again, bringing up somebody that has sample heavy, or I think he is mostly sample heavy from time to time, but like Tyler the Creator with his recent album of Chromacopia, like. Excuse me, Orchestrate shit. Why are we doing this in rap? Actually, never mind. It's Tyler. It makes sense. Let the weirdness continue.
I've been hearing Sticky a lot at the gym. Yeah, whenever I've been going, that fucking whistle at the beginning is so piercing.
Like you will recognize that song the minute it starts spinning and everything like that because of the whistle. And I'm like, yep, nope, you will. I think one of my favorite songs from They Thought I Was Dead was another one that I love from that album because it is just a bunch of percussion instruments going at it and somehow it works.
Oh yeah. Love that sort of chaos. So chatter here, Jesse Smith has recommended Blackout from Night Shift Special. Very interesting. I don't think I've heard of them, though I did just look them up right now, and apparently they're more of an indie thing. I'll have to look into that. Night Shift Special. Yeah, honestly, I needed to do a better job of looking out for newer music to get into. I used to be a lot more on top of like trying to experiment and find like scenes going on in the U.S. Like there's really good psych rock coming out of the Pacific Rim, not just in like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and that area, but out of Australia too. And I used to be a lot more on top of that a few years ago, but nowadays. Not so much. I've sort of been lazy and resting on my laurels and just listening to a lot of music from the past. So I guess to that end, that goes into another question I have in like, how do you, I guess, sort of discover new music?
New music for me is most of the time just either shared or I go out and kind of my way to just like kind of listen for it because I watch a lot of YouTube shorts, TikTok, especially.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of people like to reuse TikToks for YouTube shorts. I get the hustle. You're not slick. I'm just saying it. You're not slick.
Yeah. I definitely respect, not that I use TikTok so much, and I definitely understand it, and short form content has its problems, but I really do respect the effect it's had in, bringing back or like bringing to light more obscure songs from the past or, from the present.
Yeah, especially given like the amount of like songs that like even the older stuff and everything. Like I didn't even know who what was it, Doche was originally,
Mm-hmm.
and then her song "Anxiety" hit TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
Dochi, yeah,
Dochi, yeah, and then it's like, I really like this song, oddly enough. And by the way, yet again, I heard the sample. I know where it's from. It ain't slick, but it was good.
Yeah. I mean, I could say a lot about how well, it's not even really sample. It's more like just interpolations done fucking straight. Like how much of that has poisoned like pop music songwriting in recent times. I could go off about that, but I definitely do respect if you do the bare minimum and try to make a song out of the beat that's not just the original song,
Yeah, like I'm also a little bit of a ordeal here because I picked what was it? There was a song that I specifically got a certain sample from, but I can't remember if it was either from a video game or from something I was listening to.
Yeah.
But like I tried my best to form stuff around that sample specifically, not kind of like having the sample be the overall thing. Like it's an additive. It's not like the main course, the ordeal.
Definitely. So I guess to that end, I could ask you a bit about like your production history. How did you learn production? Was that sort of a self-taught thing? Did you go on YouTube, look up tutorials?
It was 100% self-taught because when it came down to it, I just found various different types of music workstations, like either apps or some type of program for here and there, and it was just I don't know anything, but let me figure it out because I'm a very stubborn person. If I don't know something, I want to know about it.
Makes sense, and that's a good thing to have if you want to learn something as granular as music production.
Like it is how I've gotten into video editing. It's how I've gotten into Blender as of recent with 3D animation and creation stuff like that. And it is how I've gotten into a bit of coding here and there. I don't know about this, but I want to know.
Right on.
I'm gonna try.
I appreciate that initiative. I could only really I guess my special interest when it comes to being a VTuber and getting really in the weeds of something is video editing. And even then, that's mostly been from me picking up what I can from, YouTube tutorials, Otherwise, I don't know. Like, I'm more so mercenary when it comes to my use of stuff like GIMP or whatchamacallit. think oh yeah, I use Reaper for my music covers.
I thought you were just gonna bring up Clip Studio and everything like that. Like I know a
No,
few people who
no,
use
no.
but yeah, no. Always love I always love the idea of just being able to learn something new regardless. And yes, when it comes down to learning that new stuff, anytime I create something, I understand that it will be slow, but I will admit it. I am one of those people like I don't want it to be slow. I want to be able to get to it now and be able to be good at it. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's just me being impatient.
For production, my dude, check out Spectre Sound. Glenn isn't for everyone who was something knowledge. Good to know. I'll have to look into that. If I ever decide to get a lot more serious about my production endeavors, I don't know. I haven't really dropped a cover on my channel in quite a bit.
It's always a feel out process whenever you want to try to create something, because I have not released any new music in a long while.
Yeah, yeah.
I have like a bunch, and I will say this, a bunch of unfinished songs here and there that I have like archived and stuff, and I never have released it because I feel like there's something I could add on to it, or it's just not wild to put out. It is a whole thing.
Do you eventually want to like get them into a workable form where you would like release them as an album under your VTuber persona?
Maybe so. Like I haven't really done it like that. I've always like it's always just the name is there and this is the song. I don't really have like anything per se that's linked to VTuber-esque stuff.
Right.
It's just kind of like a character that goes around per se. VTuber-esque stuff is like the streams and sometimes the like various different things I do on YouTube and everything. But
okay,
never
really so you don't really see your VTubing career and your music career as something intrinsically linked. It's more so like you do music as a side thing.
Yeah, but maybe someday I'll end up doing so where it's like a little bit more linked into it. For God's sake, I plan on doing 3D animation, and that's going to be linked to the VTubing regardless.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you never know what what skills you'll pick up, what projects you'll get into, as a VTuber. I started off like trying to emulate the variety streamers of old, your Hololives or Niji Sanjis, before realizing I didn't know a fucking thing about like how to do an interesting stream, how to carry a stream, how to even like really stream. Like my introductory stream, my debut, I was like basically 30 minutes late because I'd given my entire PowerPoint presentation without going fucking live. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I definitely encourage, I don't know, if, how to say, VTubering, it's evolved so much as a medium that, you really can do whatever you want with it. And, if you want to attach music to it or not, I don't think it'll matter that much in terms of like how it'll affect your success, which is interesting to see.
I definitely will say like it's on the table. It's there. I could do it, but I'll experiment and stuff and see what goes on. Nothing's always set in stone,
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I know that a lot of the stuff you've made currently is on SoundCloud right now, and you have that in your linked tree. I'm wondering, when you do eventually release more stuff, do you want to keep to SoundCloud, or do you eventually want to expand to like other streaming services and have your music on YouTube?
I think it's going to be an expansion pretty much, because like just having it on SoundCloud, like that's the earlier stuff that I normally worked on and here and there, but to now, and where there's so many other different places that I can post music and stuff, it might as well just post it somewhere like YouTube or other places.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you want to do stuff as a VTuber, and you said you do 3D animation, there's always there's always the splashy music videos that you can indulge in, get really crazy with it.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. That's a fun one. So, like, what instruments or production techniques would you like to learn for yourself if you had the spare time?
I would say definitely more along the line incorporating more of like instruments per se instead of just all the electrical sounds I work around with. Because
Yeah.
most of my stuff is indeed just straight up repetition of certain samples here and there, but there
Yeah.
is I don't know the technical thing for just like creating the actual like notes and everything from a instrument sample that you can use and such.
Yeah. No,
I
it's definitely a process. I mean, I've never, what is it? Whenever I've recorded drums, I've usually used my MIDI input. I've never had to like direct input an instrument for anything. So
I would definitely love that at some point in time, like maybe having some interesting guitar riffs here and there with the one that I have, which it's not a great sounding guitar. It's literally like $60, but hey,
hey,
it's something.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our starter guitars, right? Something to at least help you learn the instrument.
Yeah.
God,
Um.
I have my own Telecaster back home that I haven't played in ages. I got it for Christmas one year, but again, like I said, the whole the whole notion of sitting down to drill scales and I don't know, really get good at melody has never just appealed to me. At least with the free time I currently have.
It's always a thing of like you want to learn, you want to have this whole entire skill set down pat and everything, but time is of the essence. It's always the good old classic story. You don't got the time.
Which is why I basically focused all my musical energies into getting good at rhythm, because that's pretty much my domain. Give me a percussion instrument, I could probably play to the beat.
That's definitely a skill that I think that like I just reminded myself of another artist that could definitely use that. Good lord.
Yeah. Who is it?
Blueface, baby. Like I don't understand how this man even is a mainstream-esque thing, or like he I believe, pretty sure he fall off as of recent, but like somehow, some way, he always sounds like he's slightly offbeat. It's like, brother, this is not a style. It's just annoying me. Can you please?
Like, yeah, there's in rap music with flows, there's being offbeat as a sort of artistic choice, and then there's just being offbeat.
Like, I am pretty sure this dude is just doing it on purpose because he's been on multiple different songs as a feature, and he somehow manages to do it there. And I'm like, no, this is purposeful. You gotta stop.
Oh boy. Newer cheap guitars aren't bad, so says Jesse Smith. I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't often trawl around in guitar centers or anything like that.
Yeah, mine's pretty dated and everything like that, like 10 years in old age or whatever.
I see.
And all that. So, it's the older cheap guitar, but I have not tried a newer cheap guitar. So, yeah, I gotta probably look around and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Actually, something interesting that I recently learned. I don't know if you've ever heard of the band Sonic Youth, but back in the day, something they would do for their early material, at least, is they would buy like these really cheap guitars, like sometimes stuff made out of plastic or whatever, and they would basically take like screwdrivers and other mechanical tools and like modify the guitars to produce like the wildest fucking noises.
I have seen that type of stuff been done. It's been around for like quite a while, but to see the
Yeah,
like
yeah.
extent that some people do, like I saw literally like a what was it like a I don't know if it's like a saw or buzz saw of some kind, but like some type of like saw tool with multiple guitar picks on them to try
Oh,
to play
yeah.
like Metallica the type of songs. I'm
That's
like,
wild.
I don't know if this is safe, but at the same time you're doing it, so I can't really say much.
I respect the gumption of instrument modifiers for sure. Let's see. So, from what I can tell, you're an avid D&D nerd too yourself. You've played quite a few sessions of it on stream. Do you often do, collab campaigns with other VTubers, or is that something you mostly partake in yourself? And I don't know, like, how do you D&D?
Most of the time when it comes down to D&D, as of like the very recent stuff, it's mostly with friends that are also fellow VTubers or fellow streamers and stuff like that. And we get together for these sessions because, especially my friend, that guy Johnny, or Swing Devil Johnny, when it comes down to the Thursdays campaigns, he is a person that really works on his craft, especially when it comes to D&D and story writing.
I see.
So most of the time whenever we have this stuff organized and everything, we have like a long-term like scope of just, okay, this is the type of stuff that we want to have. This is the type of like limitations of the D&D and everything like that, and the rule set. And then we just start long plethora of streams for them.
Mm-hmm. I see. And you guys, do you have any issues with coordinating and scheduling sessions, or does it run pretty smoothly?
Because it's centered around the streaming aspect of it, it relatively goes by pretty smooth. There's only been a few times, I would say, like for other different friend groups and everything like that. Like Tuesday,
Yeah.
there are times that like because of like the sessions being so big that we have the ordeal of like we kind of need to like dial back a day or two. But it's mostly just life stuff that anytime that any type of campaign is just like off center and everything.
Yeah. That's always been my experience as an adult, trying to get together D&D games, is the complexity of scheduling there. I'd love to eventually join in on some sort of VTuber D&D campaign. I just I've been burned. I've burned groups before with scheduling conflicts, so I'd rather avoid that mess if I can.
Understandable.
But also, when you do play D&D, do you guys are you guys the sort that like to use mood music to enhance your immersion? Like, do you have like your own like forest ambience, or town market music, or boss fight music?
It really depends on the DM from time to time because once again, different friend groups have different standards. Johnny puts himself at the highest standard. He has music for everything. He has literally a guy that he goes to get music done.
Oh hell yeah!
and he has a person that he goes to get artwork done for various different like little map places and everything. Because we all do this through Foundry, which is very well known, like D&D-esque like playing browser stuff.
Yeah. Like, it allows you to like make your own maps and such.
Yeah, and Johnny is just the guy that orchestrates everything, and he has like immense talent for it. I don't know how he goes through because like one session that he openly admitted, like, I worked on this last night. And I'm like, dude, this feels like something that you worked on for like maybe a week or two. Why? How?
Some people are just built to be storytellers, Some people have, like, all the scenarios in their head of, like, all the lore building they can do. Like, if you were to go up to a random NPC and, fuck around with them some. Some people just have that imagination, that commitment to building lore, as it were.
Like seriously, when they were building Homie and everything like that, the instruction manual had an instruction manual. They'd made sure you couldn't fuck up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
You know, he is very great at craft and everything. Not to say that everyone else that I have played games with and everything is not great at their craft, but it's something like when you have someone like him that just makes such a interesting world to the point where you're just kind of wondering what's gonna happen next. Even us as the players and everyone in the audience is just like on their seat, just at the edge, just
Yeah.
knows how to do it.
And shit, having that blood pumping music out there, having that creepy music, any fitting music for your campaign, it amplifies that only more. Let me see. So when it comes to your music creation process, what do you have any particular methods for sparking inspiration? Like, do you like to go in with a plan or just sort of mess around until you have something that works?
Tis indeed a half and half experience because
I
one
see.
time specifically, and I can even point out songs from as I remember. Specifically Jacket. That song was made when I was playing Hotline Miami.
I see.
That is specifically when I was playing Hotline Miami because I could not help it with like the 80s like level of just 808 beats and the very uptown like funk type of ordeal. It just feels right for the setting, especially given like if for those of you who haven't played Hotline Miami, it is a fucking phenomenal game. Go and check it out. It is fun.
He's just like, let's make a retro wave track.
Yes, that's basically all there was. Like, I heard the track so much so it's like, okay, you know what? I want to try to see if I can make something, and that's when Jacket was born. It's a very simplistic level of it, especially given like it's very down on the tempo and all that type of stuff. But I feel like I did pretty good with it. And then there's stuff like Heiwa that I made just because I was feeling pretty calm that day. Like I'm leaning back in my chair. I'm looking at my screen. The music dock is just right there on the left-hand side. I'm like, let's just make something.
That's a nice headspace to be in when you don't really have any pressure to do something. You just want to do something chill.
You know, especially given like that song in particular, the feeling of just not having an expectation to what you're going to do sometimes can really be the thing that just like sparks that whole, okay, let's just do this. Let's just see what we come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're not under the gun. I mean, some people prefer pressure to help generate songwriting situation. I don't know. I like when you're just sort of when you got all the time in the world to experiment.
You know, like having that is definitely the ordeal. I do not understand how some people are like underneath all like this expectation and is able to create and everything like that.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I can only imagine that probably when it comes down to when the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef where it was a thing, Drake was probably sweating bullets every single time for a response. Kendrick just at home, just sitting around. And it's like, oh, he posted already? Okay, I got another one ready.
Dude, these rap beefs that have been going on recently, you know, not just the Kendrick Drake thing, but you know all the stuff with Joey Badass versus the West Coast. It's crazy and insane to me how these rappers are able to just like, you know, drop into the studio, come up with bars and insults toward each other, and you know, gin up these beats within like not even a day. Like I think some of these guys have like spun around tracks in the course of a few hours as a response, and it's incredible artistry to witness.
I feel like that in general, you do need to be built for it per se. Like, can you just imagine type of like shit that imagine like the type of mashups and everything like that? Because I know for a fact when it came down to what was it, MGK versus Eminem, he was not ready. It was never ready. Let's not beat around the bush and everything like that. He was not ready for what was about to happen.
Yeah, no. MGK's he is a fucking drifter if there ever was one.
I have seen that man go from genre to genre and everything like that, and pretty much like you say that he transitioned because like it felt like the right move and everything. Nope, Eminem put you there. Don't start.
And then he became a fucking country artist because the pop punk people were calling him a poser all the goddamn time.
Like, it's okay to drift, but you got to understand the reason why you did so.
Yeah. Oh my god. Let's see. Oh yeah, so I guess kind of along those lines of your production process. Do you have any intentions to like take up commission work in the future for VTubers, or are you just sort of trying to keep your like what I've said before, trying to keep your music hobbies and your VTuber interactions separate?
I've taken a few commissions actually from friends and everything. Like,
Okay.
I take commissions every now and then, but it's more just I like the idea of having all the creativity be there and everything like that. But I
Mhm.
will take up commissions every now and then if people have either asked me or sometimes when I put it out there that I'm doing commissions again and all that type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's I always respect the VTubers who are able to engage, so heavily with, kind of going back to our conversation with, people who are able to churn out like so much music in such a short amount of time. I'm really good friends with this one creator, Nordiboshi Ariel. I don't know how familiar you are with her, but she does a lot, not just commissions, but she does like covers, and she's been working on like this original album for herself for the past few years. And also like when it comes to fucking singing March and like her doing her own covers for that, like she literally does like her own like MIDI remixes or whatever for each day of singing March. I'm just like, girl, how do you have the energy, the drive to do all that? But I guess like if you really want to make it as an indie VTuber, as somebody who's a notable musician in the scene, you really got to put yourself out there like that.
If you indeed want to differentiate yourself from all the VTubers that are out there, like there is a plethora of them. You do need to do something that catches people attention. Music is one of the bigger ones, yes, sure, but there's a lot of different ways. I saw somebody that was a VTuber that was a cup of Joe, a cup of coffee was a VTuber, ladies and gentlemen. You can do something creative to a certain degree. You just gotta look for it.
Oh my god, we're getting so many like anthropomorphized or otherwise like off the wall sort of VTuber personas going on nowadays. Like there's a fucking opossum VTuber I see like every now and then on my Blue Sky timeline, and I'm just like, oh, that's adorable.
I am just more amazed, if anything, that even after all this time, being the honey badger merc that I am, it's still somehow like relatively unique to everything else that's been out there.
Okay. Wait, is that your lore? Are you like a honey badger mercenary sort of?
Yeah, but like basically half human, half honey badger, mercenary, and everything.
I see.
So yeah, that's how that whole deal goes.
Okay. I mean, I've never personally paid too much mind to lore. I'm just a lazy cat boy living in New York City that likes music, and that's good enough for me. But respect to the VTubers who have a backstory and stick with it.
I mean, there's always that. I feel like that, like especially given like that could be counted as a backstory. Still, it may be very basic, but
yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I guess along those lines, what inspired you to become a VTuber?
I have a very animated personality on the microphone, and over the years of me just streaming, because this is like, I believe would be technically my third or second year of VTubing, but I've been streaming for a span of 4 years.
Yeah, I think I
I'm
did
talking,
notice you had like some older VODs on your Twitch.
yeah, I'm talking days of the PS4 days, bro. Like I
Oh
I did
yeah.
not start out with the actual like PC that I'm sitting right next to. It was my PS4 that I'm also sitting right next to. And that used to be me back when, and it just slowly grew over time, and now I'm here to the VTubing because it looked like an avenue of which matching the animated sound of the person with something on the screen. So
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely. I definitely think, yeah, VTubing is a very natural thing to slide into if you've already got a bunch of streaming experience. If you're, ironically, if you're already like comfortable with a camera, you can definitely take up VTubing and do something really creative with your model.
For the over the time that I was kind of like sketching out various different stuff, the model right now, it was drastically different from the model that I wanted to start out with. I
Yeah.
will give it that, because this one in particular has a little bit more of a cyberpunk-esque, like techie sense of it. The first one that I ever sketched up or had sketched up was more military based, like more
Okay.
ground to earth type of ordeal.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the trench coat's a nice touch. You gotta represent those Shino vibes.
I have been called so many different times. I am not Shino. I am not Professor Membrane. I'm not that guy from Kill la Kill. I think it was like Kill a Gun or something like that. It is just Scouty, okay? Goddamn.
Oh man.
Like, I understand a honey badger don't give a fuck, but we have feelings. I've been called Portable once, and it was just like, bruh.
Hey, I've been there. I've also been called Garfield. So. Let me see. So what do you hope? Eventually is like your legacy. Either just as a VTuber or like as a musician in the VTuber scene. I know you're still sort of on the fence about like what you can do musically VTuber wise, but what do you hope is your legacy ultimately there? As loaded as a term as that can be,
That is an extremely loaded question. Golly. I think the legacy that I would love to leave behind, if anything, is that the whole entire point of what I do, regardless of whether or not it's streaming, making music, or just in general, like going out there and playing games and everything at tournaments or something, because I have done that before. Just reminder of that life does not need to be this whole entire thing of work. You can have a sense of childlike wonder and all that type of shit. You can
absolutely
work, you can play just as hard as you work and everything like that. Hence the reason why, like, a motto for me is we play games, have fun, make some good memories. Like that. That's all there is to it.
I totally agree. That's why I still have a job of my own that pays the bills, puts a roof over my head. But I have this VTuber career to channel all of my creative historical impulses into, on the one hand, but also provide a platform for fellow VTubers who want to yap about music or like share their voices, share their projects. I think that just like you just got to leave the scene in a better place than we got to leave the scene in a better place than we found it. It all in our own unique ways.
Especially given the things nowadays and everything like that. And yes, I understand that there's some people out there when it comes down to it, blah 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 this, blah blah that, VTubing this, VSona that. Hey, remember, at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all trying our best to just fucking entertain people. That's the main goal should be. That's what the main goal needs to stay when it comes down to becoming, an entertainer, like in the streaming stuff and everything. You got to remember, entertain, don't, lose your brain and all that.
You got to entertain and just provide a good space for people to chill and be themselves, I think that's I think that's something that VTubing really does well. from all the really cool communities I've seen sprout out of not just agency VTubers, but even some of the bigger indies, it's all very loving stuff at its very best.
Yeah, like especially given like bigger names and everything, you do see that the bigger names and everything, they get the most attention, they get all this stuff and everything like that of just the attention, the sponsorships, blah blah blah, but then they go back to the communities and everything that they form, and they show out that they want to have a good time, and they want to show people a good time. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they want to do at the end of the day, regardless of whether or not they have a big ordeal about it and everything.
Absolutely. Do you have any dream goals or collabs as a VTuber?
I have a lot of them, but I think I'll just share two major ones here on the spot.
Sure.
Heavenly Father, I'm coming for your head, bro. I want that Tekken match. Like, I'm gonna keep it buck 100 with you. I understand that you stand on business. I'm standing on business too. What up? Like, just one fighting game with Heavenly Father, that shit would be amazing. I understand that man to talk smack, and I'm about talking smack too. I want that. I'm gonna need that. Oh man, but then another dream of mine in terms of that is like having a big old event that, and this is ambitious as hell, but I want to have the same big ass event. Like, you remember way back when Kevin Hart like hosted an event that was literally a whole entire football stadium?
Huh. I don't think so. You wanna stream in a football stadium or?
It's something like that. Just something where it's just there's a whole ass audience that's literally just there for one purpose and one purpose only, because I decided to be like, you know what? Let's have fun in the biggest fucking room we can find.
Oh my god,
that's
yeah.
just the type of deal that I want to have.
That would be fun if you just got a bunch of people in one space celebrating a VTuber. Not even just for like a concert, because like how Hololive has already done shit like that, but
yeah.
Let me see. Mind if I step away real quick? Just
you're fine.
Okay, I'm just gonna go use the bathroom real quick. Let me just pull up. All right, and I'll be right back.
This is music is life. Everything else can go to crap. Music always stays. Indeed, Jesse. Indeed. Listen, I do want to. I want you all to understand and everything like that. This is my first time being just, or at least the fourth or fifth time I've ever been out in an interview and everything like that. But the second time that I've been left out with the camera here. I don't know if I am indeed audible and stuff, but anybody else have like the feeling of like, I forgot the VTuber, but it's just like the smug face and everything, and then just, so chat, you like saying slurs? I won't do that. I am a nice person when it comes down to it. Let me not completely lie. You're doing fine? Much appreciated. All right, let me just having a quick look at something here. I've been DM about stuff. And then it's just my friend sending me a levitating bunny. Goes to show you just the type of friends I have. Hey, bud, I got something to show you and everything. What is it? Levitating bunny. You mother... I'm in the middle of something here. anybody else have that type of friend and everything like that, that you could be doing the most important thing in the world, but you know full and well that you better to mute your phone and everything like that because you know you have that one friend that's just like, "Hey, yo, bro, I got something to tell you. I got something to show you, bro."
All right, I'm back. One sec.
Welcome back.
All right. little business secret for these streams here. Whenever I use the bathroom, it's typically because I only have not that many questions left and kind of want to extend the stream a bit, but but we still roll. Let me see. So, have you gone to a lot of concerts in the past? You know, rap, rock, otherwise?
I have only been to like maybe a handful of concerts. There was like one time, and then it was I believe it was like a Tyler concert that I went to at one point.
Okay.
And then there was another one that was a Drake concert that I was like, I guess I'll go.
Catnip? Nah, sad. Not catnip. Not yet.
But yeah, no. I haven't been to a lot of concerts per se. Just most of the time, whenever I go to a concert, it's because I'm invited to them.
Yeah. I see. Have any cool concert memories to share, or?
I don't know. Like, I don't have anything particularly crazy about them. I just went, I listened to the music and everything, enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
And then I went home. Like, I'd be hearing so many of these different crazy concert stories and everything like that. If somebody like, or a mosh pit happening or this or that happening, I'm like, damn, man, the least you could do was like, like, out of all the things that I do when I get around here and everything like that, everyone's just having a fun time. Like, there's nothing going on. Nothing special or anything like that. That's crazy.
Man.
It's like,
yeah.
it's like you go to the. Oh, you first.
That's why you gotta get out to the pits, man. You gotta really get in there and get body on body.
Like, I will always hear some version of a mosh pit story, or just like some form of like a story about this concert and that concert and this city and that city. And the one time I go to a few concerts and everything like that, it's just like, I just had fun. I just listen to music with a bunch of people and everything like that out in the wild, and it's just, things went well.
Honestly, vibing is a perfectly reasonable reaction to have too,
Perfectly reasonable. Like, for God's sake, not everything needs to be an absolute news article when it comes out to concert.
Kiss Reunion Tour, seen Twisted Twice, on the Crew Stadium Tour, Kiss Out in the Shade. It's disappointing for as much as my channel's trajectory has been influenced by Kiss. It's sad that I never did get to see them live, but then again, by the time I could have seen them live, their glory days were long since behind them. But I digress.
I feel the exact same way about like fucking Temptations. Like, I love Temptations and everything like that, but like, just, if I could get one concert to be able to go to and everything like that, come on, man.
The Temptations, they're pretty up there in age these days, aren't they?
They are, but still, there's a few of the members that are just like, they keep up with doing some of their songs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, God bless them for still holding the torch. Original band That's a Magic. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Although I guess the further along in age they get, the less magic they have, the more it just feels like I don't know. They probably should pack it in at this point. I mean, especially with like fucking Gene Simmons offering that 12 100,000 or whatever roadie experience.
There is just some point in time that you got to be like, with as being an artist and everything, that you got to realize that you can't always go on the road and go to these various different cities. Like, sometimes you got to just rest up and shit.
Yeah. I mean, like some artists these days. I remember I grew up with an older dad. To me, Chuck Berry is one of the best guitarists ever. Hey, Chuck Berry's as far as like pioneering rock guitarists go, you could have a whole lot worse. Chuck Berry was a very talented instrumentalist back in his day.
I can think of like a few instrumentalists myself and everything like that, but I don't think anyone in particular pops out at me. But like, what was it? I forgot the guitarist for Metallica right now. Like, they went through a few, but like there's a few that would like just really hit the bar. Like, names.
Are you thinking of Kirk Hammett or?
Yes, that is the one. That is the one.
Yeah.
Just names and me suck. Like, I can't.
It's all good.
I can't put names to shit for sometimes.
Yeah, Kirk's a fine guitarist. I'll admit I'm far bigger. I'm far more positive about like 80s Metallica than anything else they've ever put out. But like, I appreciate Kirk's talent. He's got a really distinct style as a soloist for sure.
And you always gotta appreciate somebody that, even knowing though that they're part of a group and all that type of stuff, that they are capable of like standing out in terms of a group.
Absolutely. Kirk is only the second. Dave Mustaine was the original. Yeah, that's right. And then he was booted out and went on to form Megadeth. This. I don't know. So I think we're just about exhausted with all the questions that I've prepared here. Something that I like to ask towards the end of these sorts of talk streams, given how chaotic the world is nowadays. Something I'm curious about is, with all my guests, is what sort of music do you turn to in times of stress? Like, are you a catharsis sort of guy? Do you like to be in your feeling? Like, what's your vibe when you're sad?
That can vary sometimes because especially whenever I'm like angry with something, especially given like I will pump like, very energetic music or very chaotic music. Absolutely. Just for the sake of like, getting that level of just aggression out or feeling it in a different format.
Yeah.
Like, especially given recently in terms of like all the stuff that I start listening to, like Don Toliver Tore Up, that's one that I listen to when I'm mad. Annihilation from the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, movies and stuff like that. That's another one that I listen to a lot. Or Whatever It Takes from Imagine Dragons. Like, those are the three that I go for whenever I'm feeling absolutely amped up and upset.
I see. Yeah. I regret not watching those Spider-Verse films. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second yet, but I've heard like unanimous praise for it, and like apparently the soundtrack is great too. So
yeah, I especially love the fact that there is what was it? Because I remember that there was one of the members of Ear Drummers. I think it was Sarah Lee. I think his name is. I can't remember it for the life of me. Yes, Sarah Lee, like Fred. I don't know. I try. But Post Malone though, he was also on the soundtrack. Yeah. If I'm more just feeling down and upset and I just really don't have anything that I really want to do or whatever, then I go to more slower songs or slower sounds and everything like that. Like a very good old classic, Dark Red from Steve Lacy.
I see.
Or by literally what we were talking about not too long ago with the anxiety song, the actual sample, Somebody That I Used to Know.
Yeah.
Or My Play by AJR. Those are like the go-tos for whenever
I see.
Feeling down about it.
Chill, very chill. You have anything else you want to talk about, or is that it?
Oh, you giving me the reins and everything like that? Okay.
Yeah, hey, I mean, if there's anything else you want to bring up, feel free. Floor is yours.
Okay, Rezzy. I kind of want to ask three like distinct questions here, and you can ask them in how much detail you want.
Sure, go ahead.
Top 5 like games that you can think of that you have as like all-time favorites right off the bat.
Let me see. Doom. These are in no particular order. Doom Eternal. Binding of Isaac. Probably Yarg.
Of course, naturally.
What are some other good games? Fucking Super Metroid. And I can't determine if I should go with Hollow Knight or some other.
Hollow Knight's still pretty good, but you know you can always give honorable mention.
Yeah, I don't know. I've forgotten a lot of video games I've played.
You know that
Breath
that's
of the Wild's
fine.
up. Breath of the Wild's up there. Tears of the Kingdom 2. A lot of the modern Nintendo games are fucking great. The Metroid Prime series, I love those games.
I will be the first one to actually kind of point this out. I very rarely find anybody else that also plays Binding of Isaac.
Oh yeah. No, it's a fantastic fucking game. Like, for as small as it is, like, storage-wise, just the amount of fucking content that it has is just so gobsmacking.
Yeah, no, I give shit to Macmillan every day for the goddamn sticky nickels. I will never forgive that. You made a reward system with the possibility of getting a nickel that's stuck to the ground. But
Oh my
the
god.
game is great.
But hey,
The
they got Super Meat Boy 3D coming out soon. Maybe we could get like a 3D Binding of Isaac. That would be lit.
That would be so interesting to see. Like, if there's indeed a 3D remake, because like, yeah, I love Binding of Isaac. It is indeed one of my roguelikes I love. It is stellar. I do enjoy it, but holy shit, does it have to be different?
Another game I really like, Civilization 5. That's my favorite Civilization game. I'm sure there's the other cool aspects of the Civ series, but I basically haven't kept up with it since 5.
I have actually never played any of the Civilization games, but I have heard that people really loved 5. Like, 5 was apparently like the golden crop of or cream of the crop. That's not.
It's so addicting, really.
But yeah, no, especially I will also point out, if you have any time afterwards in terms of like, any type of games that you would want to try out, Voidbreaker is a new roguelike that I have been trying out and everything. I would recommend giving it at least, yeah, Voidbreaker with like a slash in between Void and Breaker. That is a new game that recently came out on Steam, or at least new demo that came out and everything. They're about to go into like, it's a game that I would highly recommend for anybody to check out. I've been playing just the demo a lot, and it is up to like, I think I have 7 or 5 hours from like 4 days.
Wow.
That is the demo, mind you, ladies and gentlemen. That is the demo. That's how good it is.
Wow.
So yeah, I recommend peeping that. Okay. So that was like the first question that I had in mind.
Sure.
Second question is, when it comes down to the type of stuff that you will stream and everything, like major topics and everything, because I went a little bit back there and saw a little bit of stuff here and there and everything like that. Like, what would you say like your main topics of favorites? Like, when it comes down to any topic that you like, I love talking about everything, and when it comes down to music production and everything, but you have something that you can't help but pinpoint.
Let me see. I guess, I don't know, like, really drilling into an artist's process is always fascinating, because you never know exactly what they're pulling from where, whenever You never know exactly what you're going to get in terms of who's pulling what from where for their songs and like the sort of motivation they have behind it. It's always neat to get an understanding of, every particular artist's approach, I think.
I could definitely get that because especially given like people like Tyler the Creator and me just watching him going through the trouble of like actually producing cornucopia from like the very few snippets that I see on like YouTube stuff. You always wonder like, I don't know whether or not he's high or he just does this as a regular thing. Like, just putting that under the scope and being like, being able to see the process is pretty interesting, and I can understand why that'd be something you pick.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason why I love doing this series, is giving VTubers the space to sort of explicate their process for a greater audience if they'd like to. I mean, I don't know how often how many spaces there are for VTuber musicians to go out there and yap about that sort of stuff. So I'm happy to provide it.
Completely understandable. Now this one is just more of like a basic one, but you can go about it however you wish.
Sure.
I understand you're Catboy, but I understand also that Catboys have their own favorite animals. Can you think of a few that you have for whatever reason?
I mean, cats obviously, but I'm also a dog guy. I like bunnies. I like parakeets and parrots are cute. What else? Are you also thinking of like wild animals too, or
like domestic or wild? It does not matter. Just if it's an animal, you can go about talking about it.
Let me see. God, my imagination is just drawing a complete blank beyond domestic animals, but I just tend to be an animal person in general. Like I'm not I'm a weak coward and I'm not a vegan, but I will say that just generally I think animals are very fucking chill, and I'm not going to say that I relate to them better than humans, but I definitely think that they have a a more grounded sensibility of life than we do sometimes.
I mean, do you see what the type of stuff humans are trying to do and everything like that? It's crazy, man. You got literally some of them that want to make super colliders, and everything like that, or make Catboys an actual thing. Like, we wild.
Oh
we wild out here.
Oh my god. What's happening in the secret labs of X?
I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna be able to ever see it, but that might be a good thing than a bad thing, because if I ever see, there's already been enough nonsense with people trying to go to space for cheap and go under to the Titanic and everything for cheap. If indeed there is some type of Jurassic Park nonsense that happens in real life, we cooked.
Oh my god.
To put it in various perspective, we are done. We are finished. We never learn from our mistakes. iRobot could happen at any moment at this point. Like, we don't learn.
Man.
Like, especially given, like, we have those movies, like, ready, available, like, people can watch them and everything like that, and then you see the people that make the robots and everything, and you're kind of wondering, like, have you seen the movie iRobot? What's good, sir?
Oh, but see, it won't happen to them. They're too smart for that.
Like, that's what they said too. That's the crazy,
Yeah.
Real life and cinema are sometimes go hand in hand way too often.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my three major questions I can think of right off the bat.
Okay. I appreciate it, and this was a very hearty conversation. I'm glad to have had it.
I'm glad to be here, for God's sake. Like, just being able to have sit down and talk with some people and everything like that. It's refreshing because not I don't know everybody out there, but everybody seems to know me. But when there's times that nobody knows about me, it's like it's refreshing.
Yeah, no, glad to yap, glad to meet another VTuber that likes music. It's always a chill time. Where can people best find you, Scouty? Would you prefer I link your Twitch? You just want me to drop the link tree, or?
Hey, whatever floats the boat. Linktree is mostly just for all the other stuff that I'm a part of and everything. So Linktree is best.
Yeah.
But hey, when it comes down to it, Twitch is the spot to find me and everything. I do stream a lot and other places here and there too and everything on Mondays, but Twitch is the spot to find me.
All right. I'm just gonna drop. Definitely go check out Scoutyboy. He's chill folk. Let me see here. Yeah, thank you all for once again tuning into our music talk stream. I don't think there's that many here for a raid, but I wonder if there's anyone we can raid into. I don't know. I think I might just leave things off here and go make dinner for myself. But, thank you all once again for joining me. I'll hopefully have more news soon in the future about, upcoming content, the third Glam Deep Dive. I already announced on my community tab. Unfortunately, recently I got smacked by AdSense bots for some of the music I had in my videos, so 2 of my videos are currently blocked, but I'm working on rectifying that situation. Hopefully they'll be back up soon, but otherwise I'll have more news for you guys in the future. Y'all have yourselves a good night. I'm gonna go get some grub, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.
Peace.